And the man of the hour.
What the?
Hey, Fletch.
Hey.
Well, I can go ahead and kind of tee up who's on the call. Um, as Fletcher gets prepared to show off some fun screens for us. So yeah, hey everybody. Nicole, Fletcher, James, we are super excited to have you on this call. This call is a very important one to us because we have angel investors on it listening in. We have some of our strategic partners who are building out really interesting jaunt boards and opportunities with us on the call. And then, of course, some people who are on both the jumpsuit and the jaunt boards team. And so, in true startup fashion, our product is moving quickly and always evolving. And so, we thought now would be a really good time to kind of check in with everybody and let you actually see where it's at. Goal number one, Fletcher's going to walk you through all that stuff. If you guys have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them the best we can today. And then from there, we want to make sure that everyone on this call is aware of our timeline because we've got a couple releases coming up. And then from there, we'll just kind of end with any questions, thoughts, ideas that you guys have. We can do a little Q&A session and yeah, take things from there. Fletcher, is there anything else you want to say?
No, that's great. And also just kind of set a precedent, we're trying our best to build in public, but that doesn't just mean observing only. We really want this to feel collaborative, like we're listening. There's some tools, I'll even go through them, that we're setting up now to build a way to make it easy for you guys to add feedback and thoughts and vote feature ideas. And we have a really awesome, sophisticated system to test those and then implement those in a nice rhythm. So we want this to feel like a quick reaction where we're actually listening and we're driving innovation with you guys.
Yeah, amazing. James, any notes for everyone on how to interact with us via chat?
Yeah, I'll just be observing the chat, everyone. And if you have questions as we're going through, I will read them and call them out.
All right.
Yeah, we can dive in.
Cool. Perfect. Fletcher, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, awesome. I'll share my screen in just a second. I just want to kind of set up the stage, what we've been working on the product side. We have just like one of the greatest teams, I think, in the world. We have, Haven really like leading and building out the product, and Avery on some front end stuff, a guy named Eric and Sarah, and just such an awesome team, honestly. Like so proud of them and happy to know them and get to work through this with them. Put so much confidence in me as we're walking forward, just how capable and competent they are. So first of all, just a big shout out to the full product team and what we've been able to accomplish already. It's just very, very impressive. When we're looking at the product, we're obviously trying to always narrow in what are our releases, how are we going to stagger this, how do we lead innovation with features that we cook up and understand through interviews, and then how do we also respond to when the market needs once we launch, how do we see where the money's at, where the energy's at, and then also build with that in mind. We are trying to be in a system that allows for strategic kind of rewriting depending on how people are using the product, without becoming reactive. And for those of you who don't know, like, you can get into a really kind of nasty reactive cycle. A lot of enterprises are actually in this conundrum where they are responding to the loudest or squeakiest customer they have and kind of putting in, features in place that kind of satisfy them, versus having awesome ways to, from a data standpoint, actually understand the market and continue to drive innovation. So building features that actually people learn and then use and then, kind of grow from there. So that being said, we are looking for our first release, obviously, to be at the end of August. It's a true MVP. For those of you who don't know, that is a minimum viable product. So it's about understanding the core building blocks, the foundational part that makes Jauntboards, getting those into the hands of some trusted partners. So we have 13 people we've identified that are going to be using that beta. They'll have that little amount, they'll have a little extra grace because they understand that MVP might be more crude or rudimentary, but it's about proving that the platform can support process and helps like them actually build and conceptualize process in the way that Jauntboards can offer. And we will grow with that group of 13. And it'll be a lot more, close relationships and really building something where they feel confident and comfortable sharing and actually helping us, broadcast it as we test and learn. And Nicole will talk to the marketing stuff and some of the products we're doing around that. But for a public release, that'll happen September. So, and then that'll also incorporate a lot of features that we'll be working on in the background that just enhance it, make it easier for people to use. And that don't require maybe us to be on the call to help people walk through it. We're going to take those learnings and put them into the product as well. And then we'll launch with that. And then basically after that, for those of you who care, we'll kind of do feature releases staggered that have a big parking lot for bugs or, or comments and stuff like that as we kind of narrow in what's going on. And we'll basically be doing a rolling release from that point on. Structurally, though, like there's, we could say, hey, we want to listen to you. We want to know what you guys think. But in practice, what does that really mean? So we're working on a really sophisticated ability to basically hit a button anytime during the product, and you can provide feedback, which you'll get live support. We'll have articles like as far as like how to and a knowledge base, so you can actually like people can find out how to build stuff or what the methodology is there, as well as a really cool system that allows you to add your ideas or comments or feature ideas, but also view a publicly viewable feature list, and you can upvote what those are, so you can actually help us determine priority on those and kind of read about what's going on and what that landscape looks like. You can also actually subscribe to those releases. So as work is done, you can actually get updates and then see when we actually finally release it, and you get to kind of be a part of that. So anyway, it's all the nerdy stuff that goes behind the words. We want to listen to you. We want this to be kind of something that we build together, because it's ultimately built for you guys. That's what we want to do. We make your lives easier in as many ways as possible. So does that make sense? Anything you'd add to that, Nicole or James?
No, not off the top of my head.
Okay. I'm going to share with you real quick then where our MVP is headed, what we're going to build. And this is just nice. This gets us all on the same page. It sort of sets expectations. A lot of you guys have already seen most of these screens. There's been a few additions to just make it a little easier for administrators. I'm going to give you a slight sneak peek at or foreshadowing of a feature that's coming, which is gating your content. But for the most part, what you're going to see today is what we are intending to launch end of August, or yeah. So this is what that platform is. So one thing I want to add, I'm actually in this now. A lot of you have seen this through the eyes of kind of that public shareable link, right? This is where you can kind of show people what your product is, and this is how they interact with your boards. But now I want to kind of show you guys the admin side of it. So this is when you own the product, and this is how you get in and kind of move around. So we'll have a nice homepage. They'll probably have a good like kind of how-to guide just to get you started. And then a way to kind of jump back into boards or projects that are in flight, so you can kind of continue work below that. So pretty simplistic on the homepage. But what we have rebuilt and kind of reimagined is our board browser. So this feels a little more intuitive, but this is a place where you can basically create new Jauntboards and then move them into your services so people can view them, jump back into active projects, view your case studies, or archive things as well. This becomes a great like central hub for you doing the organization and creation of Jauntboards. So if we'd like even jumped into one of these guys, obviously this is where you can begin to edit and manage your Jauntboards. And this is also where, if you put together a Jauntboard and you feel like, man, this is a really strong thing, I don't want to just offer this for free where people can view it. You can actually gate your board. And this is where you can essentially set it up to let people unlock it either through an email or through a paid gateway, so that they can actually unlock it for a certain amount of money. And then when you gate that, the viewer would actually see it in this way, right? They'd look at your Jauntboard and they'd see these locked icons, so they can't actually dive into the details or get access to your links, but they can passively unlock it for an email or for an amount of money, and then they can actually have access to that as well. So this is where those guides and stuff like that come in. Nicole, would you add anything to that?
I might wait till the end, just let you roll through it.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. It's cool. So for the most part, you guys have seen the other flow. So if you do intend to actually service a jaunt board, you'll be able to take this process, turn it into a proposal for a potential client. You'll work through obviously the jaunt board with the client, indicating what phases or milestones are modified or optional or required. Working with them to kind of conclude an SOW. You can also add a proposal deck, so you can actually embed a deck that maybe you put together in Google Slides. That way it is the voiceover when you're not in the room. And again, this is all client viewable, so you can share this link to them. It's a nice, clean link, and then they can get back to it and refer to the exact process that's going to happen, what the expectations are, review it, and then eventually when they're ready to move forward, you can start the project. And again, I know you guys are all used to it, but this is, again, the admin view or your team's view where you can go in, see exactly where you've been, where you're at now, where you're headed, where all the stuff is, upload new links, and kind of always have that 50,000 foot view so that the client or other stakeholders can follow along exactly what work's been done.
Yeah, I lied to you. I actually do have some.
Yeah, go for it.
Can you go back to the other screen where you had the unlock? I think some people have been in the loop recently to this update, but there are some people that I haven't talked to in a while, and I think this differentiator is really important. As the products evolved, we really have kind of landed on Jauntboards being a place where you can democratize a process so someone else can do that themselves, or it can become a place where you can collaborate on the work together, or it can be a place where they hire you to do the whole thing. So it really kind of opens up all the different ways that someone could pay you for what you know how to do and what you know and what you do. So Fletcher, I did want to have you scroll down to the bottom because there's that really interesting module that you added with the, go back to the other one where, yep, there you go. Okay, so you guys can kind of see a new module where we're embedding a Calendly link. So if you can imagine, I know one of our angel investors is building a board right now on how to launch a podcast, right? People are asking him all the time, you're the podcast guy. I want to start a podcast. How do I do it? So he can build a jaunt board and he can say, here, if you want to go do this yourself, here's everything I know. Here's all the tools I use. Here's how, like, literally all of my expertise and my passion on a board. And if you want to go do it, great. It costs this much money, which is super helpful for people, by the way, because if you know how to do anything, people are always kind of hitting you up. So now you can kind of be helpful for free, or you can charge money and just shoot them a little text and they can go take care of it on their own. But as we know, like, there are going to be moments where people get stuck and maybe they don't feel confident they can do a certain aspect, or they might have questions. So now we open up the opportunity with this Calendly link for them to reach out to you, and you can say, hey, my hourly rate to be available to support you is $200 an hour, whatever that is. And so they can show up as needed, hop on a call with you for an hour, get what they need, and get unlocked to be able to continue to get the work done on their own. So now you've made money from selling your board. Now you've made money from hourly consulting. Or they may say, hey, you know what? I'm super rich. I just want to show up and talk on this podcast. I want to hire you to do everything, you and your team. Well, great. We can turn that into a service and fulfill the whole thing for you, in which case all of the other features that Fletcher walked through become super valuable in making sure the team and the customers all align to where things are at and how the work's getting done. So anyway, I wanted to make that distinction because I think that's a really interesting evolution of our product.
It is, and even to add to that, something I found, because when I approached Jauntboards as a customer instead, I always think as like, oh, this would be great to document my process for building products and doing design because I'm going to service it. But what is interesting, and I think we found this on every interview we do, is whenever you take the time to document it, you kind of sit back and you realize this is so valuable on its own now. And so even with people who, with the full intent to just use Jauntboards to service, like agencies or coaching or whatever, once you've documented your process, you realize instantly it has value standing alone, at the very least to be gated for an email collection to kind of warm up a lead. But honestly, we feel like this could provide value that's far above that, and actually being able to pay, have paid people to come in and actually look at your content. And what's nice about it, it's not a we were just looking at a few people who are posting and kind of building slide decks on like their process for XYZ, but those things are all like static now, right? They've been crystallized, and then they're basically expired the next day because they've probably changed something. Like, oh, I wish I could do this. This is great. When someone unlocks your Jauntboard, they now have access to your living document, and as you continue to update and decide to do this phase here instead or add a milestone, they see that update instantly, and they can kind of follow along in your footsteps, which is really, really cool.
Yeah. I think the last thing I'll add about that email button is the ability, like let's say the podcast Jauntboard goes live, and then, there's an email list of 500 other people wanting to start a podcast. Well, now the sky's kind of the limit with what you can do with that email list, right? Like that's a really fast way to build a community if you're interested in that. To launch other products and services, to even, scale your own services. So like that's one of the issues we had with Jumpsuit, is like we were growing so fast, and we are like, how can we find other strategists that are on this level? Because we had kind of tapped our own network, and everyone says they can do strategy, but maybe not for an enterprise company. And it's hard. And as the market gets flooded with more people saying they can do the things, like it becomes really hard to know those things. But our ability to launch a board that teaches individuals, agencies, other companies how to do strategy. Now we have a list, and as we grow, we can tap that list and really say, hey, we're looking to pull in people like this. And it just really creates a lot of opportunity to build towards whatever we need.
Oh, very cool. Awesome. We're basically at the end. Before we jumped onto that, we were talking about if you do it to intend to use it as a service, moving into the project itself and actually uploading links, seeing analytics on those links, seeing when clients engage with them and how many people are walking through it. It helps you it begins to build insights as far as what milestones get a lot of traction and interest, what could maybe even be turned into its own small campaign. Like if people are really interested in something, maybe you have a secret, a really cool asset that you could actually overexpose or actually use to get you new work. At the very end, so basically once the work is concluded, we all know that this becomes a wonderful way of doing proof of work, but then you can also, complete and actually create a case study, which this just becomes one of the most powerful ways to expose what you've done. It's a win-win-win. The agency wins because they have a case study out of the box, which typically these take a ton of time and investment into, but now you can actually view that. The people in the project win because now they have something that they can point to and say, hey, Ma, look, I did this phase, or, friends or whatever. They can actually see how they fit into a larger strategic approach at a project. And obviously the client wins because they can see overall the work that was done, and they can use it and share it if they want to, or even, show people internally what exactly happened. Awesome. So yeah, again, as I said, everything I showed you, I'm going to kind of zoom out into the messy view. But everything we just showed you, minus the gating, gating will happen as a follow, but will be available end of August is our intention. That's what we're working toward. That's all the features that we're fitting in, and then very quickly moving to a roadmap that we have right now. Like I said, we're trying to drive innovation. So we have a kind of a feature update summary where we intend to bring in like gated content, maybe some sales data, being able to add new company groups. So a company can actually offer services and guides and different like boards that can either be shared together or just separately. Being able to do some pretty cool importing. So being able to point Jauntboards at an article or maybe even a video, and it actually transcribes it, ingests it, puts it into Jauntboards format, so that those who are creators who have already created content around their process can quickly convert that and create it into the Jauntboard format. being able to have notifications, and those CTAs that Nicole showed you, where you actually have custom call to actions at the bottom of Jauntboards. Those are all things that we're looking at kind of prioritizing and working as we move forward past our August release.
Nice. Is this a spot, Fletcher, where you want to pause for any questions?
Sure, yeah. Or even, I don't know if Haven, I think Haven's on, but I don't know if he's able to actually talk, James. I'm not sure how this newfangled technology works. But anyway, he's on too. And if he wants to speak to anything or just kind of give a short update on progress that's being made on the actual coding side.
Hey, I'm Haven. Fletcher mentioned me earlier. I'm leading the development of Jauntboards. Yeah, I think he did a great job overviewing what we've built so far. We have a really awesome product and business and marketing team involved in the project. So, in engineering, what we're doing is focusing on building in a really agile way, but never cutting any corners on the things that are going to matter most to our customers. So things like reliability, obviously, security, and just our ability as the admins of the system to observe and help our users. Everything has a paper trail. We're heavily monitoring all of the metrics about the system to make sure that this is a really high quality product from day one, and we continue to iterate on it from a really good foundation. So that's how I think about building the product. I'm really excited about being able to launch at the end of the month and all the stuff that we're going to build on top of it later on.
Nice. Yeah, you're doing a great job so far. Thank you so much.
Very much so.
We love Haven.
Yes, we do.
My brain does not work that way. Love it. Yeah, anything else from the product side, Fletcher? We can open up questions, and then I'm happy to spend some time talking about the marketing team and some of our marketing efforts to give you guys a glimpse of where we're heading there.
Yeah. Nope, nothing else from me. Yeah, we can do questions or go into marketing update.
Does anyone have any questions about the product? I don't know, man. It's probably my backwards hat, really. I'll send you one. Same. Hey, Georgia. Nice. Yeah, if there is an actual question, James, just kind of bring us back to it. No, it's fun seeing some of our strategic partners chime in, and I think it's worth knowing, we see possibility of partnering with quite possibly anyone, which is really fun. But the people that are part of our, what do we call them, our baker's dozen, our 13, are really strategic, interesting opportunities for us, because we think we know what this product is and who it's for, but in true startup fashion, you never really know until you get out in the market and you see who's excited about it, who gets it immediately, who's willing to pay money for it. So a lot of that stuff, the proof is in the pudding. I could talk to hundreds of people before the product goes live, and I have and I am. But at the end of the day, people will tell me things and their actions will be different on the other side of it, right? So our goal is to spend this season right now learning as much as possible and trying to take the information we have and the intuition that we have, knowing the market and how to build products, and try to build the best thing that we can for September. But I'm really excited to have you guys as partners on the first Jauntboards that will ever exist on this platform, because the way that we're thinking about it is we've got a nice little map, right? We're working with some freelancers, we're working with some creators, we're working with some solopreneurs, people who are entrepreneurial, they have their own independent businesses, maybe even more traditional service-oriented spaces like real estate and wedding and event planning. And so we're really, we're working with coaches and consultants, and again, anyone who kind of wears that independent hat, but we don't have a stake in the ground about this is a platform just for solopreneurs. We just don't know, because we're seeing a lot of energy and opportunity everywhere. And the other thing that we're seeing in the market that's interesting is people are, like a solopreneur, one solopreneur defines that word different than another solopreneur too. So there's not even like common language all the time in the market. Then you've got people who are freelancers and creators because they learn that like to get business, they need to become a creator. So it's just a really interesting space for us right now that we're excited to explore. And so we've picked some partners who really kind of represent a swath of different type of customers who might be interested in using the product for different reasons, which is super cool. And we've got a team dedicated to supporting everybody to make sure that they have a vision for what they're building, that they have a team behind them when they feel stuck. That when their boards are ready, we'll be putting some ad money behind it to drive some traffic. So there's a lot to learn there and a lot of opportunity. But just if you are one of our strategic partners, like thank you so much for buying into this idea and investing in this with us early on. We hope that the sky's kind of the limit for all of us. As far as marketing goes, we have I think a really solid go-to-marketing strategy, which shouldn't surprise any of you in true Startup fashion. It's just a bunch of strategic test and learns. Over the past 8 months, we've created and documented a series of hypotheses that we have, a lot of questions that we need the data to answer for us. And so everything that we are creating an ad and a landing page and a campaign around are specifically designed to help us answer those questions and validate and invalidate things. So we've got a lean, mean, scrappy marketing team, James, Bailey, and Joe Lee, and myself. I swear to God, I update the homepage every single day and then hate it the next day. But it's because we're always learning and we're not exactly sure what it is until we get it out there. But yeah, so we're about to start a really big content sprint next week. So we've got our paid ad strategy and campaigns pretty much planned out. And I'm nerdy too, Fletcher, so I'll kind of, you let me know if I'm getting too in the weeds. But like the way that it's mapped out is we're going to run campaigns that test various aspects of product-led messaging. We want to know what features in particular actually drive leads and conversions. So for instance, when we talk about the ability for Jauntboards to be a case study, does that just make us significantly more money than when we talk about its ability to capture emails? We don't know, right? So we want to run a lot of campaigns around very specific aspects of the product, and also map that out to what kind of person's actually really interested in that and spending money. So we've got a bunch of product-led campaigns. We've got founder-led campaigns. So I think Fletcher and I bring a really interesting story to this product. You know, I think most of you have met with us at this point in time, or you wouldn't be here. But you know, we both, I think we both can bring a lot of credibility to the product and passion and storytelling. So we're going to create some ads around our point of view and why we're so excited to be building this and what problems that it solves that we've seen. And then we've got campaigns that we'll be running behind our strategic partners. So, for instance, we've got Wendy, one of our angel investors in the real estate space, building out some boards, and she's super smart, organized, good on camera. Like, we're super excited to be working with her. And we also know that the real estate industry is interesting because there's a lot of hustlers. You guys probably get targeted these YouTube videos like I do. There's a lot of real estate agents that'll put themselves out there and, find unique ways to connect with an audience and do sales. And so, the idea is like with one strategic partner, can we create some example Jauntboards, a landing page where we really speak their language and elevate the unique value to that kind of person and that kind of industry, throw some money behind it, and really see if that's a territory for us. And we all kind of win, right? And so it's been really fun to kind of meet up with all of you and explore the potential. And I know that with Levi, for instance, he actually lives with James. He He's a 9 to 5er. He's stuck in the system right now, actually. He works in old school news media, and he recently disrupted everything by launching Nashville News on TikTok. And it grew really fast. He had a very natural adaptation for the type of storytelling that was necessary and relatable on that platform. And so Nashville News blew up, and all of a sudden, James, feel free to like chime in if there's anything you want to add here, but like all of a sudden Scripps, which is a very big media organization, is like, Levi, what are you doing? You have to teach us everything you know. And they've been like offering him jobs, but like not knowing even how to define it. And so he's just kind of like, okay, how could I potentially build a Jauntboard to take my step into being an independent reporter? So don't tell anyone this. This won't be a live video. This is all like private information. But we're exploring what that could look like. He's in an ironclad contract. He can't make money off of a Jauntboard, but he could build an email list. And so by exploring how this could work for him in an almost impossible situation, it unlocked infinite opportunities as we kind of planned out what this could look like for him. And even for Jauntboards, so we kind of realized that, man, if Levi can build one Jauntboard that teaches reporters how to do modern media, like vertical video, and tell stories differently and not just repost a cut down of a news story, which is what they're doing, he has the potential to build an email list of 1,000 reporters. And Jauntboards also gets that email list. And these thousands of reporters have interacted with our product and received value from our product, and we can tap them to be able to tell stories about our product. So this is just one example of many big ideas that emerge all of the time as we sit down with an individual and really try to understand what their personal goals are, what their industry's like, what the potential is. And it's pretty much like the funnest job in the world. I didn't realize that I could get paid to do this. But I created this potential for myself, which is the entire point, right? So anyway, yeah, we've got a ton of marketing efforts. We've got really, a big commitment to build in public. Now that I actually have a team, we onboarded Bailey this week. She's amazing on camera. We're gonna just keep putting ourselves out there. But I encourage all of you to, if you want to, add Jauntboards to your LinkedIn. Say that you're a partner. Call yourself a strategic partner. Call yourself whatever you want. Show up there. Engage with our content. Don't wait for us to come to you for that ad we need to make. If you want to start talking about it, please. We're trying to build a wait list. And we've already seen a lot of traction to our website organically, which has been really encouraging. We have about 1 out of 8 people are joining the wait list already, and we really haven't marketed this thing at all. So it's a positive sign. So anyway, I'll stop. You guys have any questions on the marketing front? No? Okay, cool. James, is there anything that you'd like to add?
The only thing I would add, based on the Levi conversation, is he's actually at a conference right now that's just filled with reporters. That's all that's there is reporters. And he texted me at 2:15 today and said, "You wouldn't believe how many people have asked about Nashville News." So it's just very interesting to see the industry shifting in one place, but honestly, the industry shifting in multiple industries. So I'm just, it's a fun little thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. We even have strategic partners that, like my sister, I don't know if she's here right now, but I'm going to call her out. But we even asked ourselves, who's the least entrepreneurial person that we know? And I'm like, oh, totally my sister. She's the exact opposite of me. She's been in the education system her entire career and would never think of herself as someone who could have a side hustle or build anything. But we had a really interesting conversation with her where she she kind of explained this new emerging passion that and training that she went through to become, what's it called, James? It's like a sensory
Yeah,
specialist or something.
sensory.
A lot. Yeah, so she's early ed, and there's a lot of kids with ADHD and just sensory issues, which requires a different way to teach. And COVID really like created a pretty interesting problem around this. And so she's been teaching her school and her school district all this stuff. And over time, she was like, "Man, I don't even know if I want to be a teacher anymore. I just want to teach teachers how to understand this world and how to set up their room." And so she, right, and what, lighting to buy and all this stuff. And so as we kind of explored that, we're like, oh, you want to consult. You do kind of want to have your own thing potentially. And so to see her kind of open up and see herself as someone who could maybe do something different someday was like pretty exciting. And there's a lot of people and a lot of 9-to-5 jobs and industries who I think are, who we know are wrestling with like, I don't know if I'm happy here. I don't know if I'm fulfilled, but I have no idea how to take that next step and start to build something. And we hope that we can be a platform that helps people confidently do that and have the support that they need, right?
Well,
And so, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, we're playing with this idea of this hibachi business, because what we found too is when we jump on a call with anyone and we talk through like, hey, let's like tell us what your special thing is, what wisdom do you hold? And we're doing these sessions where basically in a half hour we go from I don't know to a fully built out jaunt board. And it's kind of an emotional journey, because at the end you sit back and you realize, oh my gosh, this was in me. Like I just talked through a process that I know well, that I do all the time. But now that I see it, it looks like a product. It looks like something that I could definitely see someone trusting to either hire me to coach them through it or even buying it. Anyway, it was we've done this maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 times now with people who are like struggling to maybe put the first few boards together. And we just, through a conversation in under a half hour, we had a very sophisticated jaunt board done. And the aha moment of like, wow, this absolutely is something that's hireable. This is something that I could see people, consulting with me, so I can walk them through that, because I have a lot of passion and love inside of that. So we're thinking about like taking those interviews or maybe even doing those in a live session so anyone could watch in, and we'd have basically a person that comes to the table. Would be in this kind of same format. We'd talk to them about what their project is or what their work is, and then we'd live build them a Jauntboards for them, and then leave the meeting where they have this new tool to use, and then we kind of conclude by talking about other features that would help them and stuff like that. So it's a really cool way to remind ourselves this isn't, Jauntboards isn't the hero. The people are the people with the incredible like giftings and talents and wisdom and unique side of like how to do something. That's all we're trying to amplify, and to actually watch it happen live. It helps. I think it would help other people who aren't sure realize, oh, I could do that. Oh my gosh, I'd want to do that as well. It's a very emotional kind of thing to go through. It's really fun.
Yeah, I'm so glad you called that out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He called it hibachi design. It's like cooking all that, you're doing the magic in real time. It's been really powerful, and it's like the perfect way to build in public. And so, yeah, we definitely will be doing LinkedIn Lives, and we'll be doing this with all types of people, because it solves a couple of problems for us. One is we understand that this product is a commitment and a lift, which is a bad practice for software. People just want to get in immediately and use it, or they might not ever engage again. So by offering that as a service, an hour with us, we can start making money soon, adding value, getting people further faster. And in doing so, when someone watches, being like, oh, I could see how I could do that for myself. Also, as we grow and scale, we're going to need people who can do hibachi building, like Fletcher and I have been, and we're going to need more of those people. So I anticipate people watching us do this in public being like, holy cow, what a fun job. I think I'm really good at like taking disparate information and organizing it really fast. And so for us to like create the opportunity to build an entire network of Jauntboard experts. I think about HubSpot. There was no such thing as the HubSpot expert until that platform became, integrated into every business in the world. And it's like now there's a whole new job that exists called the HubSpot expert. And out of the gate, we really want to like create opportunities for people who are good at process and passionate about this mission to call themselves a Jauntboard expert, and therefore we'll have a Jauntboards expert Jauntboard that'll teach you everything you know how to be a Jauntboards expert, and we'll update it all the time with case studies. We'll help you if you want to turn this into a full-time job, because we're not ready to hire you yet. Here's exactly what we would say to go get customers, how to position the value of our product to another organization. And then all of a sudden, we have a bunch of Trojan horses into other organizations in the world. And so, again, I think there's just so much potential across the board, and it's been really just meaningful to build already. I guess maybe the last thing I'll add is one of the things that we've been hearing is it would be really nice for Jauntboards to evolve to be a platform that helps us hire each other, right? So there's right now I think there's a way that we can manually create flow from one another, right? So I can build a Jauntboard, and in a certain milestone, I can say, hey, you know what? For this thing, I know a guy, and it's Georgia, and I can take you to Georgia's Jauntboard. Like, we can do that manually. As I think, as we see people asking questions around like, how are you different from Fiverr? How are you are you going to give me projects? I just wanted to reinforce with this team that like Fiverr, Marketer Hire, Upwork, all of those platforms that exist to kind of connect an individual with a customer to get a project done. That's a red ocean that I think we could absolutely grow into. But we are really building a platform that teaches you how to fish, not how to just get a fish thrown to you. We want to teach you how to really build a business and think about marketing and networking and really build something that could grow.
Scale past yourself,
Scale past yourself.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Or create systems, and it's okay if you want to build a lifestyle company and not even scale super big, right? But like have some systems in place so it doesn't always have to be you doing the work all of the time, so that you can have a little bit, like actually have the thing that you want, which is independence and flexibility and some more money and all of that. So anyway, I think we're on to a really interesting opportunity to create an entirely new ecosystem that doesn't exist, where work can get shared back and forth between us. And if we do want to open it up then to clients and customers down the line, then that's a really interesting roadmap to scale. But we've got a really cool, unique position in the marketplace.
Casey asked, how can we help market this as it grows?
Yeah, a variety of ways. I would say, like, obviously, when we post, comment, engage, reshare, that sort of thing. But make your own content, talk about it. As you're building your Jauntboards, you guys start building in public, right? So just as kind of we're modeling, you could do for yourself, and I think that would actually be smart for you guys to do, those of you who are building out strategic Jauntboards. A lot of the people on the call they're not investors yet, but will be in our community round. So just letting people know, like when we open up our WeFunder community round, helping bring visibility and awareness to that would be huge. Yeah, I mean, I'm very open to collaboration. I think, we really aren't super active on our socials yet, but we will be. And the most important thing early on is for there to be energy there. So comments, reshares, a community. I'm so excited to have a team finally by my side, because I feel like I've been shouting into the wind, and I'm like, this isn't a good strategy. I'm going to get annoying at some point. Like, people want to hear about more people excited about this thing. So however that's most natural for you. I know we got some TikTokers on the call. I know that one of our strategic partners, Seth, is a TikTok creator. He's got, I don't know, what, 1.6 million people following him on TikTok to learn about investing and finance. And so, when I think about him in particular, it's like help people help people understand the monetary value of this platform. And there's a million different things that you could talk about, and you're going to be able to talk about it in a way that your audience cares and understands. And so like that's the nuance, right? Like I think just I don't know, put on that hat of you being the expert in your field, and you know how to kind of speak to the value of Jauntboards in the way that you would want to hear it. That's the most important thing that I think you can begin doing for us. Yeah. Anything else that you would add to that, James?
No, that was great. Yeah.
Okay.
I might add, just to round out, since we kind of looked at product and then marketing side, we also have kind of a finance group that we kind of have a pretty sophisticated dashboard where we're budgeting and just really planning like what does our runway look like exactly, when are milestones we need to hit, and so that's being thought through very carefully, and we're meeting through that too. So anyway, and a shout out to Sarah, who's on that team.
Yeah, thank God for Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah and her spreadsheets. Love it. Awesome. Well, obviously there are like a million other things that we could say, but it's Friday. You probably want to get back to things. We are available anytime you have questions. You're our team. Like really, you are like the founding, instigating team of this product, and so we're placing some big bets on you guys. And and to ensure your success, we're just here if you need encouragement, if you need accountability, if you need videos edited, if you needed ideas, anything like that, please don't hesitate to reach out. And even as you heard us talk about the product and the marketing today, like if ideas emerge, maybe there's a new way to kind of like position it or explore it. Please, just all ideas. Let's build this together. We really mean that, and we really believe that that's the way that this will succeed. Any final words from Father Fletcher?
Father Fletcher. Nope, we're really excited. This is honestly overall for the month before, the running month before the first kickoff feels peaceful. It feels planned. It feels strategic. It doesn't. There's work to be done for sure. But it's not, it's not wild, and like it really feels controlled, and like we're building something very purposeful, which is good. It's a very good thing.